Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Jabal, your guide on your coding journey. In the last video, we implemented the tabs layout. In this video, we will implement the stack layout for the authentication flow. And we will also implement the sign-in screen. First, let's create files for each screen involved in the authentication flow. Sign in. Phone number, help center, and verification code. Next, create a folder for the auth stack. Create a layout file inside the auth folder. Add a function and return the stack component from expert-auto. Move all the authentication screen files to the auth folder. To render the auth stack so that we can begin to work on the auth screens, open the tabs layout. Return a redirect component. From expert-auto, and set the href to auth sign-in. Let's implement the sign-in screen. To remove the header, open the auth layout file. Inside the stack component, add a screen component for the sign-in route. Then set the option to an object, and within the object, set the header shown to false. Let's get back to the sign-in screen. I like to think about the state and functionality of the screen before I continue to work on the UI. The screen has two states. A default state, as seen on the left, and a signing in state, as seen on the right. So let's create a state variable called isSigningIn, setting it to false by default. All right, we will toggle this state when the sign in or the back button is pressed. So let's create a function to handle that. When the user presses the sign in with phone number button, they should be navigated to the phone number screen. So let's also create a function to handle that. Here, we'll use the roto from expert roto to push we will implement functions for signing in with Apple and Facebook later. Now let's turn our focus to the UI. We'll start by implementing a component to render the video background. So, create a folder, a components folder. And add the video background component. One of the goals of this tutorial is to show you how to use resources to increase your productivity in development. One such resource is the Expo Examples repository in GitHub. Here you can find example projects that demonstrate how to use Expo APIs and integrate Expo with other popular tools. We are particularly interested in the with video background example. Let's copy the imports. The function body. And the style object. Here, the Expo AV package gonna be found. So head over to the Expo docs and search for Expo AV. Copy the installation command and install it. I recommend exploring this package when you have some free time. Let's go ahead and save. Let's remove this comment and fix this TypeScript problem. The background video component should receive a source and children as props. Replace the hard-coded source. And the content with these props. Let's fix the TypeScript problem by defining and assigning types to the props. Let's change the source to AV playback source and save. Inside the sign-in screen, let's pass the source. Here, let's pass the video file inside the assets folder. Next, let's add the content to the video background. The first item is the Hinge logo. Let's set the fill to white. The width to 140 and the height to 70. Let's wrap the Hinge logo with a safe area view. And add a style so that we can add styling later. To add spacing above the Hinge logo, let's create a custom component with the sole responsibility of creating space. Let's call it Spacer. So Spacer receives two props, size and horizontal. It returns a view with a height and a width. If horizontal is true, the height should remain undefined. Otherwise, it should be set to the value of the size prop. If horizontal is not true, the width should remain undefined. Otherwise, it should be set to the value of the size prop. Let's fix the TypeScript error by defining and assigning a type. Back inside the sign-in component or the sign-in screen, let's set the spacer to a size of 130. For the text designed to be deleted, let's create a custom text component. We will use this custom component for all the text in our app. Let's call the component type. The component should receive a variant, color, text align, text decoration, and style for additional styling. By default, let's set the variant to body, color to black, text align to left, text decoration to none. Let's return a text component and set the style prop to an array of styles. The first style is a style that the variant prop maps to in the typographic constants file. For example, by default, the variant is set to body. So, inside the typographic constant file, body maps to these styles: the font family of Poppins regular and font size of 14. So the second style sets the color, the text align, and the text decoration. This should be text decoration line. And the third style sets any additional style that is passed in as the style prop. The type component also receives the children prop. Let's replace the content with the children here. Let's fix a TypeScript problem by defining and assigning the types for the props. The style should have a type of text style. Back inside the sign-in screen, let's set the variant to title bold, color to white, and text align to center. Let's add a space between the Hinge logo and the type using the spacer component. Let's set the size to 10. Let's wrap the logo and the type with a view. And set the style to branding so that we can add some styling later. Let's add a type for the next set of text. Set the variant to caption and the color to white. For the links, let's set the variant to caption bold, color to white, and the text decoration line to underline. Let's apply this to all the links. Okay, so when pressed, the links should open the browser and should follow the link that it points to. To implement this linking functionality, let's head over to Export Docs and search for linking. Here you can see that we can use the HTML elements package. So let's copy and install it. Next, import the A component from HTML elements. Let's wrap the links with the A component and set the href prop to the respective links. So for the terms of conditions, we're going to get it from the links object and set it to terms. Let's wrap this link with the A component and set the href to links dot, what is this? Privacy policy. It's going to be privacy actually. And then this link here, we're going to wrap it with the A component. And set the href to policy. And save. So when we press terms of service, it should open the browser and follow the link. Next, let's create a custom button component for our button here. Let's call it BTN. The button component should receive the following props: on press, background color, width, height, and start icon. By default, set the background color to white. Let's set the height to, the width to auto. And the height to 52. Let's replace the view component with a pressable component and set the on press here to the on press property. And let's set the style. So by default, the flex direction should be row. The justify content should be center. And let's add a gap of 10 for cases where we have the start icon. Next, let's set the height to the height property, the width to the width property, and the background color to the background property. Let's also set the align items here to center. Set the border radius to the height. And finally, let's add some padding, some horizontal padding. And let's set it to the height divided by 2. When we press the button, there should be some interactions. To add interaction, we're going to use an animation library. Let's go to the Expo Docs and search for animation. We're going to install React Native Reanimated. Let's add the Babel plugin to the babel.config.js file. Let's go ahead and restart the server with a clear flag. Let's do a refresh. Let's also install Moti, which is a wrapper around Reanimated. It's gonna allow us to implement animation a lot easier. So let's go ahead and install it. Next, go to the interaction section under multi-pressable. We're going to copy this animate property. Replace pressable with multi-pressable. And set the animate here. Let's also grab the import for multi-pressable because it's not auto importing at the moment. Let's import use memo. Let's save. Next, when we press the button, there should be a fade like so, but we are going to change the fade effect to a scale effect. Set this value to 0.95. There we go. All right, let's fix the TypeScript problem by defining a type and assigning it to the props. Let's also change the type for the width to be either a number or auto. So the button should also receive a style prop, a children prop. So let's add an array to the style prop, set it to this object, and let's add the style prop here as well. And let's replace this text component with a children and save. Back inside the sign in screen, let's add a type for create account. And I set the variant to body bold. And save. And the color to white. The button should have a background color of okay, so I've made a mistake here. So the background color should actually be set to colors, background color here. Like so. And then the type of background color is going to be key of type of colors. Let's also add the children, the style, and the children to this. Now we can set the background color to black. Let's make the unpress optional for now. There should be a lowercase a, like so. Next, let's create another button for sign in. The background color, we're going to set to transparent. So let's make an adjustment to the button. So this could also be, so the background color could also be transparent. And if the background color is equal to transparent, I'll set it to colors background. Back inside sign in. Let's add some space between these two buttons. Set the size to 20. Actually, that's too much. Let's set it to 10. That should be good. So this create account button should only be rendered when the is signing in state is not true. Let's add the onPress. Let's call the handle sign in function here. We're going to press sign in. The create account button should be hidden. Next, let's add the remaining buttons for when the is signing in state is set to true. Let's copy this section, paste it here. Let's wrap this button with a view. Let's add a style so that we can add some styling later. Let's call it sign in. Let's create 3 buttons here. The first one is sign in with Apple. Color is going to be black. Background color should be white. And the start icon should be the Apple icon with a width of 20 and a height of 20. I believe we forgot to add the start icon to the button, like so. The next button is sign in with Facebook. Color is white. The background color for the button is Facebook blue. And the start icon is Facebook F icon with a width of 20 and a height of 20 and a color of white. Sorry, a fill of white. The last button is sign in with phone number. Sign in with phone number. And the unpressed prop should be handled by the handle sign in with phone number function. Finally, let's add some styling to the content. Let's set a flex of 1 and a padding horizontal of 40. Next, to the branding, let's set a flex of 1 set justify content to center. Actually, let's set align items to center. For the signing buttons, let's add a gap of 10. Finally, let's add some spacing between the terms of agreement text and the buttons. And set it to a size of 20. Let's also set the text align property for the text, terms and agreement text to center. Let's check on the Android emulator. Okay, perfect. Everything is working as expected. And that's all for today. In the next video, we will implement the phone number screen. I'll see you soon.